In 2017, more than 200 million barrels of beer were sold in the United States. It is the most popular alcoholic drink in America and has been so for some time. And today, 19% of beer sales in the US are from smaller, local breweries. 9% more than only 10 years ago. This means there are more choices for beer lovers than ever before. When you find the right brew for you, it's easy to ask for another beer, please. Hey everybody, I'm Lawrence.
I'm Sarah.
And this is Another Beer Please. So today we're going to share our very first porter that we had when we came back to Boise.
Yep.
Now I grew up here in Boise. There were no breweries here when I was growing up. And now we have like 30 plus breweries in Idaho. So we're looking forward to visiting them all. But today we wanted to bring our first discovery when we came back to Boise, the Snowboarder Porter from Boise Brewing Company. Now they're down on Broad Street, they have a tap house, and they have a constantly rotating set of taps. Very interesting, strongly recommend you go check out boisebrewing.com to see their tap list. You'll find something there you're gonna like. May I pour for you?
Please do.
Now as always, you pour aggressively to get that.
Everyone needs a good head.
Yeah, everyone needs a good, I think that's gonna become our like battle cry. Everybody needs some good head.
Yeah.
So now porters are dark beers. Again, this one's going to be much more opaque than the Evans Gate Scotch Ale we were looking at earlier.
Yep.
It's going to have a nice creamy brown tan kind of head on it. The porter heads typically will dissipate pretty quickly. And that's okay because you want to release that CO2. Remember, it's all about releasing the aromas and releasing those flavors. Right. Now, one thing we were talking about when we were trying this, it's always important to sample before you review.
We gotta do our research first.
Yeah.
Always research.
Always. Research, research, research.
Best research.
One thing we've discovered over the years is that dark beers are really best enjoyed not ice cold.
Right.
Here in America, we love our beer ice cold, don't we?
We do.
Bud, Coors, all our great lagers and pilsners, we like those ice cold. But
well, I mean, if you ever notice on the commercials, they're always coming out of huge ice buckets. I
right.
mean, but they're always for the light beers as
right.
well. So
these are different. These are more English style beers. Porters, stouts, these kind of beers, you want them to warm up a little bit because that makes those subtle flavors come to life.
yeah, that's where all the chocolate, all the coffee notes, all those
caramel notes,
those hazelnuts.
yeah,
especially
yeah. Now, porter, a snowboarder porter, one thing you're going to be looking for is kind of a chocolate note. You're going to be looking for a caramel note. You're going to be looking for like a toasted malt aroma and flavor.
Yep.
Oh, you're already ahead of me. I haven't even.
I'm already doing more research.
Now, see, smelling it, I can get those like dark chocolate coffee notes. You remember those little hard chocolate candies that had chocolate in them as well? That always kind of reminds me. Well, I can't say their name because they don't sponsor us yet. Oh, we all know what they are, nips or nibs or nips.
I've never actually had those. So
probably before your time. So with this, when you first smell it, you're really going to get a sweetness to it. You're really going to get a toasted malt to it.
Yeah, for me it's the toasted malt, then it's the it's almost like a mild chocolate coffee, just like right at the same time.
Right.
Right after the malt. But that's, like I said, I mean, you definitely will smell that and taste that firsthand once it gets warmer, because this is like ice cold right now. So.
Yeah, and well, because we took it out of the fridge for the review, but we've allowed them to warm before, and those chocolate notes, those coffee notes, those caramel notes, those toasted malts, all of those come more to life. And that helps balance the hops that are in there. Now, Mojo loves a beer too. No, we're kidding. We never give beer to our cats. Now, with the Snowboarder Porter, one thing I like about it is the IBUs are very low.
Right. It's only 20?
20.
20.
Now, for those of you who aren't aware of what an IBU is, it stands for International Bitterness Units. So the higher the IBUs, the more bitter, the more piney, the more hoppy the beer is going to be. Now, your typical IPA is going to be anywhere from 75 to 80 IBUs. Now, some of those out there, like the Hop Stupid, oh yeah, they get up to like 100 IBUs. destroy your taste buds the moment you hit them. And some people love that.
Yeah.
We're not big IPA fans because we like a balanced brew. And Snowboarder Porter really does a good job.
It does a really good job. It's very smooth. I can barely taste the hops. You get the first hint of the hops in the head of the beer, but after that it just kind of disappears. So if you don't like hops, or if you like smooth drinking porters, stouts, this is a porter, so obviously that, but it's... I think this and the Evans Gate are probably the smoothest that I've tried so far.
It is really smooth. It has a low carbonation point, so it doesn't feel fizzy in your mouth. It goes down real easy. The only lingering aftertaste I get is a little bit of a coffee note in the aftertaste.
And that's never a bad aftertaste at
No,
all.
not if you're a coffee lover like we are. So Snowboarder Porter, it's going to give you a little bit of sweet. It's going to be very smooth. It's going to be nicely balanced by some hoppiness that gives it a clean finish. And it's really an excellent beer. The nice thing about the Snowboarder Porter, and this is something they brag about on their website, is that it's very drinkable. You can have more than one.
Which we have very
Well,
easily.
not tonight, unfortunately, but we'll work on it. Yeah. I really like the Snowboarder Porter. It's very easy to drink. It goes great with almost any kind of a robust meal.
I was just going to say, it's like a perfect pairing with like those big old fat burgers that are so messy.
Oh, yeah.
Because the messier the burger, the better it is, right?
Definitely.
So,
we don't suggest that about beer. Don't, you know.
You might. I mean, whatever floats your boat.
That's true. We're not here to judge.
I like to live on the wild side.
So Snowboarder Porter from Boise Brewing Company, a local brewery, one thing they love to talk about is how with being a small brewery, they can take the time to make their batches small enough to make sure a little bit of love goes in each one. And I like that attitude.
Yeah.
And I like the attitude of the Boise Brewing guys. We've met them. We've been down at their tasting room in the past. And it's a great beer. A lot of their beers are really enjoyable. I like their stouts. But the porter is my favorite, mainly because of the smoothness of the drinkability, the nice aroma as I'm drinking it, the fact that I can kick back and enjoy this beer over time and not worry about it flattening out or losing flavor. As a matter of fact, the longer it sits,
the better it gets.
The better it gets.
Yeah. And I think part of the drinkability of this is it's 5% ABV, so it's really low in the alcohol content, which could also be very dangerous because it's so drinkable. I mean, you don't get hit unless you're super, super lightweight. This is, no, I'm not. We found this out. No, so it's, that's the dangerous part, which is, I think, probably one of the best things that I feel like I can describe this beer. It's so dangerous because it's so delicious. And the alcohol content's not going to give you, it's not going to hit you right away unless you have like 2 or 3 and you pound them. But,
but it's so tasty and so easy drinking. That's not hard to do, especially with a good meal.
Oh, God.
I've put down a couple of these with a meal very easily. But the nice thing is then I can get up and go and not feel like I'm overwhelmed like an imperial stout or a Scottish ale that's going to be a little heavier. These are really nice and easy to drink.
Yeah.
And when you're enjoying beer with friends and a beer sits there, if it's the wrong beer, it's just going to get worse as it gets warmer.
Yeah.
Not the case with a good porter like this. Those chocolate notes, those caramel notes, that maltiness just warms up and becomes more alive on the tongue the longer you let it sit. Now, of course, I don't want to let it go totally flat and totally warm.
No.
But yeah, I've enjoyed a single beer over the course of an hour because it never stops tasting good.
Right. Yeah. That's probably the best part of this beer. Is you just let it sit. You don't have to drink it right away because even if it's not ice cold, you're still going to get a great taste, and when it gets warmer, it's going to just get better. It gets better when it ages. Right?
It really does. Oh, hey Bear. That's Bear. He also likes beer, but we don't give him any.
No.
Now, one important thing about tasting beer, we didn't mention this in our earlier reviews, but when you watch wine tasters and they'll go with this little, and no, to heck with that. How do you taste a good beer? You take a good swallow.
Yeah, you do.
And then breathing through that swallow, letting that get into your All right, so apparently Bear is starring in this beer review.
Uh-huh.
Hey, all our friends at Boise Brewing. Bear the cat loves it.
Yes. Yes. Don't you, Bear?
Yeah. So here's our primary recommendation about Snowboarder Porter. One, if you have a friend who has never tried a dark beer, this is a great intro dark beer.
It really is. Yeah. Because like you said, this is the first porter we tried when we came back to Boise, and we kind of stuck with this beer for a good time before we moved on to any other like dark beer.
Yeah, we did. We've tried some local stouts. We've tried local porters. Some of them we really enjoy. Some of them not so much. But this one, it was a favorite right from the beginning.
It really was.
Yeah.
Which is, I keep doing that because I'm just excited about the beer. That's all. That's how I can describe it.
Yep.
How good is it, Sarah? It's freaking good. It's that good, huh?
Yeah, it's that good. So get down to Boise Brewing Company. You can also find them at local grocery stores. Go to their website, boisebrewing.com, and you can check out all their options and find out where they're selling it near to you. And I definitely recommend getting out there and getting yourself a nice couple of big bottles of this Snowboarder Porter.
Yeah.
And do yourself a favor and go check out their tap house, because you're going to find something for almost any palate down there.
Yeah.
Is that about it?
That's about it. Beer.
Well, then I know one thing. If I go down and ask for a Snowboarder Porter, I'll definitely be asking for another beer, please.
Best you couldn't get. I'm already drunk.
Oh, she's not a lightweight.
No, I am so not.
Were you trying to do some alliteration?
I was gonna.
This is probably the stuff that's going to go on behind the credits.
Probably, because I'm embarrassed. I was gonna say, I bet you can't guess what he was gonna say.
Wow. That was a long trip for that.